Hey there, are you taking the digital SAT and you want to know a quick way to boost your reading and writing section score? Well, look no further. Today, we are going to talk about a very special question type called meaning and context. So I am going to explain what they are, how you identify these question types, how to solve them in 4 easy steps, and then we'll go through a sample question. Ready to get started? Because I know I am. So if you're new to my universe, my name is Kristina of Ivy Lounge Test Prep. For the last 15 years, I've helped high schoolers all around the globe dramatically raise their SAT and ACT test scores and ultimately land spots at their dream schools. While I have your attention, just hit those like and subscribe buttons. And that way, every week when I share my latest in SAT or ACT test prep and college application essays, you'll be the very first to know. So first off, let us recognize one of these meaning and context questions that you might find in the digital SAT's reading and writing section. So here's how the question stem will most likely be worded. So as it's used in the text, the word, and they give you a word, usually in quotes, most nearly means, and then they give you 4 different answer choices with different vocab words. You might be asking, well, aren't the vocabulary questions a little bit different where they're like in the beginning and they have a blank and then they have 4 words? Yes, those are the sentence completion questions, and I'm going to tell you where they happen. But these meaning and context questions occur roughly in that same area of the reading writing modules. This is the structure of the reading writing modules on the digital SAT. I made this graphic for my online course, which is the ultimate guide to the reading and writing section of the digital SAT, which you can get online. But right here, do you see this? The vocab and context. These are the sentence completion questions, which are the ones with the blanks. And then they have the different answer choices, the 4 different vocab words. But the one I'm going to talk about is just a little bit different, but you also will find it in this very first block of questions at the beginning of any of your reading writing modules. So you understand what this might look like in real life, I'm going to show you a question from one of the linear practice tests from the College Board. So here you go. They give you a text up here, and then it says, as it's used in the text, what does the word arrange most nearly mean? And then they have the word arranged and it's underlined. So the word already exists there, but they're asking you what else it means. Okay, so the question's instructions may seem straightforward enough. And at first glance, it looks like you're just, picking the answer choice that means the same word as the word they put in the quotes, right? However, many of the test takers, including my private students before they come to me to work, they still pick the wrong answer. And why is that? Okay, so most students assume that they should approach these questions as a simple vocabulary question, like a quiz with flashcards, and that there's like only one meaning or one answer to the word. But the question's asking something different from that, because the SAT will basically bamboozle you by trying to provide several answer choices that technically do fit like some definition of the word that they have in the quotes. So that's why I call these meaning in context questions, or you could even call them vocabulary in context questions and not just meaning or vocab questions. But fear not, if you follow my strategy that I'm going to tell you about, then the in context part of the equation will take precedence and your path to the correct answer will be very straightforward and pretty easy, if I do say so myself. So I'm going to tell you how to do that right now. So this is how you answer a meaning and context question, the Ivy Lounge Test Prep way, in 4 steps. So step 1, you're going to return to the excerpt where the word is underlined, and you are going to read the entire sentence, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to reread the whole sentence that included the word they asked you about, but this time, instead of saying the underlined word, you're going to say the word blank. Now you're going to reread like a portion of the sentence, enough that it includes the underlined part and you get some context, but not long enough that you can't like remember it. And you are going to literally rattle off the snippet 4 times in a row, each time plugging in a different one of the answer choices instead of the underlined word. And then finally, you're going to eliminate anything that is an obvious no. And usually you're left with a single answer choice, and that's the answer. Or if you have a couple answers left, then you've at least narrowed it down, and then you could choose between those. So let's work an example so you can see this question type on the digital SAT in action. Okay, so first thing, obviously, we read the question stem. We see that it's asking, what does this word most nearly mean? We know it's a meaning and context question, right? We do read the whole thing because this is our one chance to read it. So the following text is adapted from Ida B. Wells' 1970 autobiography, A Crusade for Justice. Mr. Watts is a reference to George Frederick Watts, an English painter. Manchester's art galleries are so arranged that the name of every picture is plainly seen, and one has no need of a catalog to pick out the name of the artist. This is a convenience to the general public, which other art galleries, which shall be nameless, might copy to advantage. To her treasure of art, Manchester has added Mr. Watts's latest picture, The Good Samaritan. So let's follow the Ivy Lounge test prep method of our 4 steps for meaning and context questions. So number 1, we read the sentence that has the word underlined in it, and we read it as it is. Manchester's art galleries are so arranged that the name of every picture is plainly seen, and one has no need of a catalog to pick out the name of the artist. Step 2, read it again, but this time the word blank. Manchester's art galleries are so blank that the name of every picture is plainly seen, and one has no need of a catalog to pick out the name of the artist. Step 3, pick a smaller snippet of the sentence that includes the blank and start plugging in your 4 answer choices in succession. So I might do this part. Manchester's art galleries are so blank. So Manchester's art galleries are so organized. Manchester's art galleries are so ranked. Manchester's art galleries are so scheduled. Manchester's art galleries are so discussed. What? So a lot of these, to me, this is now we're going to step 4, don't really make sense. Like scheduled and discussed don't really make sense because to pick out the name of the artist, it doesn't make sense. But organized, ranked, those probably, like, those are the closest. I might maybe reread now, maybe the whole sentence, plugging in A and then plugging in B. So Manchester's art galleries are so organized that the name of every picture is plainly seen and one has no need of a catalog. That makes sense. Manchester's art galleries are so ranked that the name of every picture is plainly seen and one has no need of a catalog. That doesn't make sense. So just from reading this, I finally understand what it's talking about when I plugged in the word organized. So I'm going with A as my answer, and that, in fact, is the correct answer. So now, why does this meaning and context method work? So there's a few counterintuitive parts that I just want to talk about of the strategy so that you do them even though it might go against your instincts to do them. So the first thing, never in the process did I ask myself what the word arranged means. Because honestly, the word arranged doesn't really interest us, right? We only care about what the word arranged means in that particular sentence, right? Hence the meaning in context part, right? So now the second thing that's sort of counterintuitive. In that second step, yes, I reread the whole sentence, but I used a placeholder instead of the word arranged, right? I used the word blank. Now, why did I do this? It seemed like a waste of time, but it wasn't. Okay, so I did this so I could silence any preconceived notions or definitions that I might have in my head for the word arranged. And that thus I could remain neutral when I try out the options in step 3. Finally, the weird thing that I did in step 3, I reread that whole segment 4 different times, each one with the different answer choice plugged in. I didn't just read it once and then say the 4 words, right? So like, here's what I did not do. I did not say Manchester's art galleries are so organized, ranked, scheduled, discussed. No, I said Manchester's art galleries are so organized. Manchester's art galleries are so ranked. Manchester's art galleries are so scheduled. Manchester's art galleries are so discussed. I literally reread that segment 4 different times. If you don't do that, your ear will only really hear and understand what that first word meant in the blank. And then the other three, you just wasted your time. Your brain isn't going to really process what those mean in that sentence. So I recommend practicing the strategy a few times, but it'll definitely be worth it to you because in addition to those sentence completions in that first question block, you will get some of these meaning and context questions. And I don't want you to be stumped when you see them because you surely will, if not on this digital SAT, on the next one you do. And if this leaves you hungry for more, then there are two ways that you could possibly get more information and work with me. One is check out ivyloungetestprep.com and see if we might be a fit for one-on-one tutoring. If you're more of a lone wolf, then guess what? I actually have online courses for the digital SATs reading and writing section and for the digital SATs math section. So check them all out in the links below.